Edgar told me that you have a makeup line
Yes.
that you have just launched at a shop in Italy.
Yes,
Please
yes.
tell me more about that. How did it come about?
Yes.
And how was the launch? And will we in South Africa be getting anything from that?
Oh, I wish. It came about 9 months ago. The product manager, Fabio Formesano, reached out to myself and spoke with Christian, my manager, and worked out. Basically, Wycon is like a Mac.
Okay.
They have over 150 stores all over Italy,
Okay.
and they started this new project called Wyconic, and Wyconic meaning a woman that represents courage and strength. And so they wanted to do this new project, and they approached me to be the first and the face of,
Congratulations.
thank you, of what it means to be courageous and strong in this world. And so being that they've watched my career from day
Yes.
one, they asked if I'd be interested in doing this, and of course
It was an obvious
it
one,
was,
right?
I mean, first I was a little in shock and said, are you sure you want me? You know, I have a 16-year-old, I'm married, you know, you sure I'm not that model, you
Yes.
know? But no, and so what I loved about it is not only the meaning that it has, but it's now given me a platform for a voice and to empower other young women and women that beauty is timeless, beauty is from within.
Yes.
But the most important is, as women, we are courageous and strong by default. And we don't know that, not until we are faced with certain situations. And we don't think, well, I'm going to be courageous and strong. We just take on each situation as it comes. And then later, someone says, wow, you're so courageous and strong. And to me, it's like, really, I am? I just thought that's part of what it is to follow your dreams, go forward, raise a family, be a woman in society. And it takes, like I said, it's just by default.
You know, I was just saying that. I read something on social media. It was a picture that someone had posted. And above that they wrote, you never get to be the alpha dog until you have to do alpha dog stuff.
That's right. That's right. That's
so I
right.
pick up also that, you know, you're very much into empowering women and preaching
Absolutely.
good into women's life. I feel that's very necessary at this
Absolutely.
time, day and time in our lives.
Absolutely, yes.
But why does that speak to you specifically? Why do you feel that you need to be she-rolled for that?
Well, it's not that I feel I need to be, but I come from Cape Verde, and we left Cape Verde in exile with my parents during the revolution, and being that daughter of a Portuguese father and a Cape Verdean mother, and me being multiracial, I grew up with a lot of different difficulties, let's say. And then coming to the United States as an immigrant and still having these old values and being raised in a home by a Cape Verdean mother and a Portuguese father, it was very much that a woman or the girl is usually the last of the family. And so when I said to my mom at 12, oh, one day I want to live in New York, she said, well, not until you're married, you know. And it was growing up was learning how to sew, learning how to cook, learning how to clean the home. And there wasn't really this vision to become. And not until growing up in the United States that I saw, wait a minute, wait, I can be. And so having two brothers, an older and a younger, I found myself always fighting to be like them. You know, oh, you can do that? Oh, I can do that too. Oh, you can do that. And always end up getting hurt, cut, and coming in the house and my mom just smacking me like, what are you doing? A girl's supposed to be doing this and you can't be with your brothers. But I found myself rebelling a lot. And then growing up with so much adversity, I just always found myself in these situations fighting for, and like I said, I wasn't fighting, it was just going against and striving to be, not to be a statistic, not to be that number and that girl that couldn't. Instead, I wanted to be the girl who reached something. And now that I look at my life kind of in retrospect, it's like, oh wow, you know, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy growing up. There was a lot of difficulties, but I was able to push through. And now, what is my message? Yes, I have this platform. Yes, it's amazing. It looks all glamorous.
Yes.
Half the time it's not. But it's amazing to be able to share these things and have this voice and say, you know what, you can too, and you can too. And now we have a potential woman president of the United States. And I don't want to get into politics too much, but I feel like the issue is being diverted. Instead of saying, look, it's the first time in over 200 years in the United States of America that a woman has even stood to possibly be the president, but we're not looking at that. Instead, we're saying no, no, and this and that, instead of saying to girls, look, you can be a president too, you know. And so it's something, as you can see, I'm real passionate about. It's like, yes, sister power. And yes, now is the time. It really is the time. I feel that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So then, how did your relationship with music begin? How did it start?
Well, I come from a musical family in Cape Verde known as the Shalino family. Actually, my uncle, Shalino, found Cesaria Evora. And my mom grew up helping my grandfather make all the guitars on the island. They would take the wood and soak it in the solution and then let it bend. And they made all the cavaquinhos and guitars and violins. And my mom's a singer and songwriter, and all my aunts and uncles are guitar players. And so I grew up listening to a lot of music at home. On the weekends, we would have what we call serenatas. And it was just eating, drinking, and playing music at home. But growing up, I kind of didn't want to be that. You know, I was like, I'm cool. I'm listening to R&B and reggae. I'm in, you know, I'm in America now. And so I found myself not wanting to do that until now, how much I appreciate my culture. And then leaving Rhode Island, going to New York City is when all of it was like, you know, I walked into Sound Factory Bar and there was Louie Vega playing, and I had already knew of Louis and what Louis did, and Lisa, if I can say, you know. And so I grew up listening to all types of music so much. And so once I got to New York, you know, I modeled for many years and did theater and all this, but my heart was always in music because music gives you a voice. Yes, and you can write and say and sing and empower. And so once I met with Louis, you know, he was like, it wasn't until years later, many years later, that I said, you know, I want to do this, you know. And so that's where it kind of all began.
So did you look at him and go, hey,
no, we were just, everybody's like, when you meet Louis, like, oh my God, it's Louis Vega! You know, and then it's just, it's music. And so music has brought so many of us together, and to be part of this.
And so with that journey, you ended up having your own record label.
Yes, it's Nulu Music. It's now going to be 9 years old. And yes,
that's a big baby.
Yes, I can't believe it. I know, it's my big baby. Christian Mantini, my manager, is heading the label. And we, you know, the first song that I put out was from a duo from Mozambique and Angola, M-Roots. And once the first song came out, naturally all the music that was coming in, demos, a lot of it from South Africa, from Angola, Nigeria, Congo. And I can say, you know, the first release from Black Motion was on Nulu, and they came to me at House 22, young guys, about 7 years ago with a CD, and said, we have a CD, and I signed them their first track to release. And so since then it's been Black Motion, DJF. I just signed something new from someone who I chose as a winner on another radio show, I won't say. But we ended up kind of meeting the last time 3 years ago when we were here in Polokwane on the road heading to the gig, and he's the fan pulling over. We pulled over to the gas station. He came out, Pex Africa, and I just signed his album. It's wonderful. And for me, signing new talent, young talent, and just kind of giving them this international platform has been such an honor, and just really, I feel like I'm giving back something, you know.
I mean, you guys are so busy, you know, the tours, you're doing music all the time, like you're just always up and around the world. Now there's a little boy as well. How do you balance it all?
Yeah, we balance it.
You
just do it.
Oh yeah, do it.
Well, first off, you know, I have to give Anane all the credit, because she did, you know, she put in all the time to raise him. You know what I mean? I'm traveling around the world a lot, but when I'm home, of course, we're together as much as we can be. And he's 16 now, you know, so he's getting there. He's in high school.
Is he trying to get into music too?
Yeah, he plays piano.
As expected.
But he plays basketball too, and soccer. You know, he's into sports.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, for us, it was, you know, it's our work is around the world. You know what I mean? It's not in New York. So we have to travel to work. So now, you know, before I traveled a lot, now she travels a lot. So when she travels, I stay home as much as I can.
Okay.
And when I travel, she stays home.
Yeah.
And then we both stay home. And we take them to Ibiza and everywhere else in the summertime. So we keep them with us in the summertime. So, and it's just about balancing the holidays, the birthdays, the Mother's Days, the Father's Days,
All
as much
the
as we
important
can.
days.
You know what I mean? And, you know,
Yeah.
try to work around those things at least. And, you know, because it is very busy for both of us now.
Yeah.
But he is an old soul. He's like a little adult, and he really understands this all. And he never complains like, "Why aren't you home? I want you home." You know, he understands. Like he's almost like he supports us. You know
That's
what I mean? Like
beautiful,
he knows.
That's beautiful. I think that's all that a parent can ever ask for. An understanding child.
He's an amazing boy, man.
However, Louis, you are, I can actually say that you're the common denominator here. What
my
is it
God,
about
look at
these three
this.
beautiful ladies that made you go, you know what? I want to work with each and every one of you. And no, let's go ahead and do it.
Well, you know, first of all, they're all amazing. They're good friends. They're family. Even more than friends, they're family. You know. You know. First of all, of course, Anane and I were married. We
Yes.
had a child together, and we've been together for over 20 years now.
My God.
About 20 years. Yeah. And Lisa, I've known since the early 90s. So I know Lisa over 25 years. You know. Monique, I know about, let's say, we met when your first single came out. We did meet around that time in the clubs, right? Yeah. But we really, you know, started talking a lot more in the last, 10 years maybe? Because we've been talking about working for 10 years.
Okay.
And it finally happened
Okay.
last year when we did Elevator.
Yes.
You know, but they're all amazing. You know, they're super talented. And as you can see and hear,
Yes.
you know, I'm lucky.
Yes.
I'm really lucky, and I adore them all, and I really enjoy working with them.
Yeah.
You know, we have a great time in the studio. It's so creative. You know what I mean?
So Lisa, I literally grew up on your music. My mom used to whip out Lisa Fischer, Luther Vandross, left, right, and center. Okay, and at home, you know, she'd get up in the morning, clean the whole house, then she'd sit next to the radio, play a tape, and sit like this with the book and go, pause. Okay, rewind, play, pause. That is what would happen. And obviously, as she's singing along, I'm singing along also, right? And then in 20-something, I work at Kai FM and I hear Elements of Life, Lisa Fischer, Love Will Know. I'm like, for real? How did that happen?
It's his fault.
I remember doing this session for Louie in New York because if you can imagine, like all these recording studios in the city, and you've got this community of singers and musicians, and you've got this really special spirit named Louie who speaks. He speaks with his body, with his mind, with his heart, with his smile, with his eyes, with his breath, with his energy. That's to me how he produces. He's not like anyone else. You know, he has a unique way of just communicating, and it lives on record. He captures this living and he injects us all with it. You know, and then we inject it into the project, and he's stirring it up, and he's stirring it up, and he's stirring it up, and then he serves it as this labor of love. And so every project I've ever done where Louie's been involved, it's always been that. We did, you do these little sessions, and then it's like, yeah, so, I was listening to, this group called Rotary Connection? And I was like, Rotary Connection? Yeah. I was like, I this one song, well, we want to redo I'm the Black Gold of the Sun. It's like, that's my favorite song! Are you kidding me? I was like, please let me read your vocals. It's like every single part. Because I, like your mom, was the chick that would literally fall in love with a piece of music like like my life depended on it. And I would listen to every word, and I'd listen to every part, and I'd go, oh, that's interesting. I was like, oh, no, that can't be right, because the other person's going here. So then the other person. So I was putting it all together in my head. And so the fact that he knew this song and wanted to redo it, I was just like, I love him. He could, I just love him. I'm done. It's over. You do anything. What you want me to do? What?
However, what style of music would you say that you would like to be doing from now going forward? Because you came to the Joy of Jazz 2010 and you featured with
Chris
Chris.
Brody.
So I know you from R&B and soul, jazz, and now this. Where are you going from this point on?
I love the idea, and I'm a big, corny dreamer, but I love the idea that a singer just sings.
Right.
And so the genre would be considered freedom singing
Okay.
for me.
I like that.
I just
like that.
I just want to freely sing wherever I'm needed, where I'm needed, because it really is a calling. You know, it really is about these things don't happen just by
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
there's something going on that we don't necessarily see, but is necessary. And so I just want to be free to do that and not miss out on any of it.
You just have the most unique voice I have ever heard.
Thank you.
Where did music begin for you?
I think, like all of us, when you're very, very small, something about music touched me as a child, and I really didn't start doing it professionally until I was 25. So
Okay.
that's kind of late to get started, but I was always singing, always writing songs. Like the first song I wrote was called The Light Switch. Like I would write about anything. Like 9 years old. Oh my gosh, it actually, I swore after I heard, what is it? YMCA.
Yes.
The Village People, that they had totally ripped me off because of the exact same melody of the light switch, and that was after. But I was like 9 years old. But yeah, I don't. Can you give us a little bit of this? No, I can't sing the light switch.
Just like 2 lines.
The light switch, you can never turn it off.
You should sue them. You should absolutely go after them. What is your most favorite genre? Like if you had to pick just one genre of music to do, what would that be?
See, I'm not sure, because I think, like Lisa said, when you just singing, especially house is primarily where people would hear my voice, because that's just the records that have been out, and the producers that I work with, like Louie and Black Coffee, Ralph Gum, big guys, those are the ones that people listen to. But I've always been making all kinds of music. I really started out and thought I was going to be, a jazz musician. I started out with a 10-piece jazz band, Abstract Truth, when I first was recording. So I thought that that's where I would go, but I feel like I've been able to do whatever I want, within the genre of house. Elevated to me, it's such a jazzy record, the one that I've done with Louis. So I've never felt limited in any way. So I couldn't really pick a genre. I feel like, like a freedom singer.
Let me ask this to everyone, because I want to hear your opinions on this. Do any of you feel that music is led by the generational evolution? Because some people start out doing one thing and so because music changes as time goes on, are the genres changing? Because now we get free music as well. So does time influence, what style of music one would gravitate towards?
I think it's right. Time, opportunity, the way that music is even made.
Even how you feel or what inspires you. I don't think music is ever, I can speak for me, done with a specific purpose, specific genre. Oh, this I'm feeling. I think we pick up, being an artist, you pick up so much around you. You're inspired by so many things. I mean, someone could be dozing off and you're like, oh, that's a song. It's just, there's just so much that inspires, but evolution is natural, progression is natural. That all happens and we all grow. But I think when you do it from the heart and when you do it from the soul, it's just timeless and it just fits and it just works where it is. And you can play something from 20 years ago, 25, 50 years ago, and it still moves you and it still touches you. And I would hope that the music that we do, that we collaborate on, is that type of music that 20 years from now you can listen to and like, wow, like when we were in Milan, this one song we did together, and we were in Milan for the launch, and we were walking down the street and someone's playing it in the shop, and I'm like, Louis, listen, wow, it still sounds good, And I think that's what the intention is. It's just from the heart.
Okay. So now the DSTV Delicious Food and Music Festival. What can we expect from you all there?
That's got the big plans over here.
It's a beautiful collage, all these different these individuals who all have a unique style. To me, I kind of, I handpicked the show. I put the music together from beginning to end, and my vision actually. And of course, I consult with everybody, and hopefully they're gonna feel good about it. And everybody's felt good about the way it was. And I think even the way we have the order of the show, it's really a beautiful story. It's almost like a play. You know what I mean? That's what I see it like. When I'm envisioning it. I see like all these incredible artists who have, when Anane comes in, she's singing in Cape Verdean. When Lisa Fischer comes in, she's giving you jazz, and then, she's giving you R&B and soul. And then you have a jazzy feel from her, and then, deep house. It goes in all different directions, but, the foundation is the music and the band, you know what I mean? And that drive that the musicians have, you know what I mean? Everybody works as one. That's the cool thing, So you have all these individuals who bring something special, and then you have this unit that is their foundation, and they're just like gliding through it. All of them amazing, beautiful lyrics, melody. Like all the songs are good. Like all the musicians were even telling me, they're like, Louis, I'm really having a good time playing the show. These are the guys who play with Chick Corea. They play with Herbie Hancock. These guys are amazing, and they play with superstars. People from Esperanza Spalding to everybody. So Stevie Wonder. They're seasoned and they've been around, but they're enjoying this, and they're telling me, it just feels like a family. It feels like we know each other for a lot of years. You know what I mean? Like it's the first time we bring in the background singers.
Yes.
It took a while to really get these 3 women who are there, and they've been great. And they're telling me, Louis, we really love doing this. To do. They had to learn 24 songs. This show is 24 songs. It's not, it's not a short show. And different textures, different styles. Even the musicians, they had to learn how to play different and everything, and rhythms, and and they did it in 7 days.
That's crazy.